This conference will now be recorded.
So define variants for open posting periods. Define variant for open and closing posting periods. Define the open and closing posting periods. Assign posting variant to company code. Define field status variant. Then assign company code to field status variant. We have completed. So posting keys is an optional that we don't want to create it. It will be already there. Only we need to represent, we need to know like where the accounting transaction comes, which code I need to use for what type of transactions. So next we will be talking about the define document types. So what do you mean by define document types? See, document in the sense whenever you are going to create the transactions. So either it might be the taxation transactions or it might be a original documents. Say for example, it might be a receipt, it might be an invoice, or it might be a bank statement. So if you are doing any type of related transaction, that should be represented under one particular document. So what are all the transactions I can accept? So whether it might be asset one, or it might be material one, or it might be invoice or expenses or an income. So when I represent the transactions that time, that should be created under the document type. So document type, we have a two form of original and IT documents. So original documents are nothing but like receipt, invoice, checks, bank statements. So your ID documents are nothing but like a sample document or the recurring entry documents. So for example, if I wanted to return it, for example, see I wanted to deposit 10,000 every month, or it should be like if I do the sales or a purchase, there should be a credit or the credit sales also purchase, credit sales or a credit purchase. So in that whenever I do it, it should get record. So today 5,000 the customer is paying. So his balance is like 30,000. He will be paying 5,000 each month. So that how I will be recurring that kind of documents are called as recurring entries. So these are all should be leveled and grouped under one document types. Okay, so we need to define the document type. In the document type, you will be having header, line item, document view, entry view. Document header in the sense what kind of transaction are you doing, whether it is a receipt or whether it is an invoice, whether it is a bank statement or you are doing an asset management. So what the type of document you are going to do it, so that you will need to enter in the header. So information you will give. So the document header is a part of a document that contains the information that applies to the entire document, such as the document date, document number, so the controlling information, all we will be giving under the document data. Document line item is nothing but whenever I'm doing the transaction, as I told you, debit and credit is nothing but a line item. So debit is one line item, credit is one line item. So what amount you give, what is the document information you are giving about the items. So that should be represented under the document line item. So line item is nothing but a debit and credit line. We call it as a line item. Document view. So you can display the two different view as a general ledger accounting or entry view. So the original components. So once I done the posting, that posting should be represented, means I should view that. So that for transaction to view, we call it as a document views. So entry view in the sense like whatever I entry, whatever it contains within the document. So either I wanted to see only the line item, or if I wanted to see the complete original component details. So this will be nothing but like a entry view. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
So next you write down the path for this. Write down the path and the date code. Excuse me for 5 minutes. You write it down. Sorry, I wrote everyone. So here financial accounting, global settings, document. So here first what we need to do is like we need to enter the document details. So here document, define document types. So if I click on the document types under the document header, define document types. Here it will come to the document type. We need to go for new entries. So here we need to create the document type of our. This is like see, standard document type is already there. These are all the standard document types which is already there. So we also have SA for the general ledger. So for billing, invoice receipt, for price charges, vendor invoice, vendor payment. So for this and all, you will be already have the details. Now, if I double click on the general accounting document, so here you will be able to see the document type. The document type you can write anything, means whatever the code you want to create, you can create. That would be unique to codes. Okay, number range in the sense you need to enter the number ranges. So what are all the types of transaction you are going to allow in this document type? You need to tick. So now what happens here? Either we can copy this data or I can create my own one. So I will be creating our new document type under the new entries. So in this, what happens? We also want to give the number ranges information. What do you mean by this number ranges? See, whenever I do the transaction will be having an invoice number. So document 1, document 2, or invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 3, invoice 4. That is the number range. So you can create the number range for your document. So for example, if I give 1 to 100, only I can create 1 to 100. That's it, not more than the 100. So after that 100, some more in the sense I need to upgrade. I wanted to create some again create the number range information by 100 and 200. So whenever I create the document type also should have a number ranges. So number ranges will allow the transactions which should be defined within these numbers only. So then you will be having a track for an employee, means for a person who is working. So with the SAP, I can make him to be limited to use only these many bills. After it has been created, I can create some more limit. So that the transaction limit where we will be giving under the document number range. Okay. So first document type. So document type is a two unique code. So I'll just type it as EM1. Number range in the sense your number range starts with what number. The first one, if it is already created, if I have created 100, so then I need to take it as an 101. But here it takes only the two digits. How many of the transactions you are doing? So now I will be taking 01. 01 will be the number ranges. So if you have a reverse document type of the transaction, so if I am doing the reverse credit note, debit note, such kind of, then I need to give their document type within the present document type. So we don't have any reverse document type. What are all the transaction we allow? We should tick this one. Now I am allowing the transaction of asset, customer, vendor, material, and GL account. So general ledger accounting. Then if I have a negative postings, then if there is no cash, so in the cash balance, or if there is no cash in the bank balance, so then still if I am doing the transaction, in the sense I should neglect it the negative postings. So if I am not specifying control data, if I don't give the negative posting permitted, then I will be not able to post the negative transaction. So if I give yes for this, means if I tick this, then it will allow me to do the negative postings. After giving this information, you need to click on number range information. So either you can take the picture of this. So document type can be anything. You can type your own code. Number range, you make it as a 0. Tick all these accounting types. Then you tick only negative posting permitted. So please let me know if you have took the pick. Okay. So after selecting, giving the information here, now I need to click on number range information. So if I click on number range information, it will take me to then another screen. In this, it will ask you to type the company code. So I need to type the company code of my company. So what is the company code of my company is MCC1. MCC1. Then to create the number range, you need to click on this intervals plus pencil mark. So if I click on these intervals, immediately it will come to the interval level. So here you again, to create the number range for your transaction, you need to click on the interval, this plus intervals. So once again I say, so after giving the information here, click on number range information, company code you give, then click on intervals. So here again this plus interval, number is 01, which year I am doing the transaction 2021, from number 1 to 1 lakh. So it can be anything, means now I can post 1 lakh transaction from 1 to 1. After 1 lakh, again I need to click the interval from 1 lakh 1 to continuation. So and so the same thing you will be processing with the number ranges. So after this you should press enter. Current number in the sense which number I should use for the transaction, from which number I need to start it, from 1 to 1 lakh. So if I give 100, it will start with the 100, but I don't want to specify that. It should be from 1 only. Then press enter. After selecting here, save. Green tick. So it will be saved. Come back to the document screen. Here again this document types you save. Okay. So here you have. Now after that, if it comes to here, if you want to type description, you can type some description. So I'll just give SAP fee and Fico. That's it. Then save. Okay. Next, after the number ranges, so this is how we will be creating the number range. So here what happens in number range, it specifies the interval within the document should be created in the SAP. So whenever I am doing the transaction, that is an interval, first one, second one, third one, fourth one, so and so you will be creating. So see, now I have created the document type, then I have created the number range within it. Now what happens, again and again you don't want to create the number range. So once I create the number range, so then I need to create the means like it has been done. Now 1 to 1 lakh the transaction is finished. Now I need to create the second transaction, means that should be the limit of the document number range should increase. That should be 1 lakh 1 to 2 lakh. So once if it is the document type is created, you don't want to go again to the document type. So then I can directly go for number range. So global setting, document and document number range, define document number range. You just write down which is already created. You don't want to create it again. So it's there. So once the limit of the transaction is finished, till 1 lakh the transaction I completed, then I need to increase the year to year, or it might be within the same year. So 1 lakh to I need to continue the further the uh, ranges. So to create directly to do the ranges, you use this path. Write down the heading and write down the T code and the path. So once you written, please let me know. Wrote.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now if I'll just show you how to do with the T code itself. That is FBN1. From here itself, if I wanted to open /n FBN1 and press enter, then it directly comes to this interval. Give your company code MCC1. Then if I click on intervals, it will open. See, if I have already created one. Again, if I click on this intervals, so the next interval will be 0 to within the same year. I cannot create one. From number would be 1 lakh 1, 1 lakh 1 to 2 lakh. So then press enter. It will be coming here. Same manner. Now the intervals, if you wanted to increase 2 lakh to 2 lakh 1, sorry, 2 lakh 1 to 3 lakh, 3 lakh 1 to, so or else you can also create like within hundreds also, 1 to 100, 101 to 200. So now what happens, this is the limit for the transaction. Only this number of number ranges, the intervals of the transaction I can create. If it is been done with 1 lakh, I need to extend that. If I am not extending, then it will not allow me to do the postings at all. So this is how you do it. If I wanted to delete anything, select and click on this minus. So it will delete your intervals. Again, you can go for interval. You can give that 0 to 1 lakh 1 2 2 lakh. Press enter, it will come save. So if you are not saving, it will not save the data. So you should save. Then you can increase the intervals, nor you can delete which has been not useful for your company. Now here it takes only the 2 digits. Two digits can be alphanumeric. So the numbers or alphabet, anything. Now what happens when it only takes 2 numbers. Once if I finished with like 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, like 10, 11, 12 till 99 it takes. 99 afterwards it will be not possible, and everything should be unique. So the same number cannot be used again. So that time you can use alphanumeric. A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 like that. So or A to Z and A, B, AC, AB. So like that, the alphabets also you can use, or you can use this numbers also. Numbers with alphabets or alphabets with numbers. So ulta also you can use. If you have, I have already used 23, then 32. There, that is how you can use it. So this is how you will be creating the intervals. Before we created a document types. For the document types, we created the number ranges. Here number ranges only we are creating, because once you create the document type, again and again you don't want to create, unless if you have a different types of transactions. If I am doing the all type of transaction under one document, then what I can do is like I can directly create the intervals by the FB and 1. So this is how the number ranges will work. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So next we come across tolerance groups for employees. So what do you mean by this tolerance group for employees? So tolerance group for employees is nothing but you are an authorized person who is giving to the employee for the maximum amount per transaction. So for one particular transaction, you can limit the employee to give that particular amount only. So the maximum amount. So if I can give only thousands, or if I wanted to give him only lakhs, or it should be crore, or so and so. So any limitation for the amount for the employees, we will use this tolerance group for employees. So to authorize the employee, we will be giving this tolerance groups. Okay. So the authorization is given to the employees for the maximum amount permitted per transaction. The tolerance group for employees determines the maximum document amount to employees are authorized to post. The maximum amount can enter as a line item in the vendor account or customer account. So either it is a vendor transaction or customer transaction, you can give the maximum amount under the line item. So this is the path. Financial accounting, global setting, business transaction, open line item, clearing differences, defined tolerance group for employees. T code is OBA4. Write down the T code and the path. So once you written, please let Total. Total. So here SPRO, SFA reference image, financial accounting, general ledger accounting, so this is for chart of general ledger, business transaction, open line item clearing. So here, so here under the clearing difference, define tolerance group for employees. So again, I say financial accounting, general ledger, business transaction. Here you need to go for the open line item clearing, clearing difference, tolerance group for employees. So if I click on define tolerance group for employees, here it will open the tolerance which is already created. Now you need to click on new entries. So in the group, so the group you don't want to enter anything. So if I have to be copied any other tolerance group together, I can use this tolerance group for employees, like to group to create. I'll be giving company code MCC1. You don't want to specify the currency. Why do I don't want to specify? Because the currency automatically takes. I don't want to specify the currency there because it's in the gray. As I told you, if it is gray, you don't want to enter. Automatically, it will take. So amount per document, amount per transaction. So what happens per document? What amount I can give the limitation? So here I will be giving like 11 times 9. As I told you, numbers are only 0 to 9. So we don't have the greater number of that. Only we are going to take the, we are considering the each number to be another number. So what happens like for if I'm specifying 11 times 9, now 11 times of the value I can give in the document. So it will be documents. This is for throughout the documents. If for example, what happens if I'm adding the tax, everything, it will also add. Say for example, for the transaction, I have it only 10,000. For the 10,000, I'm adding the tax in the sense that might the increase. It will become like 11,000. So if there is a value, means if the value is given more, the percentage is high, then that tax amount again we will add it. Throughout the document, what is the limitation you are giving is a 11 times 9. For line item, for debit line item, credit line item, what amount I am going to represent it, like 9 times 9 I give. So then if I wanted to give the discount line item, so discount, it should be only this particular discounts only. Then I can specify the discounts here. If I give 5%, only it takes as a 5%. So next permit payment difference. If there is like differences, if I wanted to permit for the employees, say for example, the amount is like 100 is difference from the revenue, 100 is difference from the expenses. If I wanted to permit them, then I can give that also. So permit percentage, if I wanted to give percentage, I can give. Then save. The amount per document 11 times 9 and the per open item 9 times 9. Just take the photo of this. Okay, save. Next, tolerance group for general ledger. So this is for employees. Next, we will be doing for a tolerance group for general ledger. So this is how we will be giving. Enter the 4-digit unique codes, unique code for group. I don't want to enter the group. The company code I will be entering the same company code. So after the amount per document, amount per open line item document, then cash discount per the and permit the percentage, permit the payment differences. So after this much you give, save the file. Then we do it as a tolerance group for GL account. So GL account is nothing but general ledger accounting. So for the transaction mainly that is for employees we specify. So users we will be creating. So if I have the users, so the users when he is been using, for him I'll specify it only that this is the limit, that is employee. For transaction, for ledger transactions, whatever I do for the general ledger transaction, for that accounting I can also give the limitation. So that is nothing but tolerance group for GL account. You write down the path and the T code, and please let me know if you have once you have written the path and T code. Note. At least you should respond by the message or something that I can understand. Okay, you're all active. Okay, I hope you have your written. So here you need to click on define tolerance group for GL account. So once you click on define tolerance group for GL account, here again new entries. So then you need to give the company code. The company code is MCC1. Then tolerance group. If you have created the groups, you can give the groups. So we don't have any groups. Debit posting tolerance, like I'll just give 100 and 100. The percentage either you can give anything, like I'll just give 5 and 5. Then save. So if I see, automatically my company name will represent here. So after giving the company code and save, company name will be represented there. Okay, so once you create it, we will assign it. So now we don't want to assign to the users because we don't have any users. I am itself the user who is working. So when it comes to the authorization, here you need to click on assign users to the tolerance group. So here new entries, username and the tolerance group. So the tolerance groups which we have created that tolerance group only you should give. So once it has been assigned, so they can use, means for them it is been done, it is processed to do only under this amount. So we are self user who is using everything, so we don't want it to specify the users here. Okay. So the next we will be coming across global parameters for company code. Global parameters are nothing but globally you are giving the complete information to your company code. What do you mean by this? You don't want to create this global parameter. It is already will be there. What you will be adding is further details of your taxation. It might be GST number, it might be PAN number, it might be TAN number of your company. All the taxes details, means like tax registration, tax registration numbers, whatever you have, that related details you will be entering under the global parameters for the company. Everything, once you are creating, everything automatically takes, you don't want to create again and again. So only you will give the further information about that company from that global parameters of a company code. So this is nothing but like giving the taxation registration details to the your company code. So either it might be TAN, PAN, GST, these are all you will be giving under this global parameters. So write down the path and the T code. Please let me know that you have written at least a message. Write down the T code at the path. Wrote it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay. So Here I'll show you how the global parameters will be working. So path, the T code is OBY6, the financial accounting global settings and company code. We will need to go over the company code. So here we have entered the global parameters. See here what happens, you don't want to create it, you already created the company, everything. Once you create a company, automatically the information takes here. Go for position, type your company code and press enter. See, it's already there. Double click on that, that's it. Double click on that, it will open. So here automatically everything will come. Fiscal year variant, company code, credit control area, chart of account also we should create. The next I will be doing is chart of account only. So if I wanted to use a default value date, so what are all the things if I wanted to give, yeah, I can give it here. If I wanted to neglect the posting, the negative postings, so cash management, if I wanted to activate it. So costings, what we do, like controlling, this is the controlling area also, it will come by automatically. This we have not yet created, we will create it. So these are all things will be there. Now if I go for additional tax, additional data, if I go for additional data, here it will ask me the tax registration parameters. So TDS number, PAN number, JR number, TAN number. So whatever the taxes details you have here, you need to enter it. So if I don't have, I just can skip this part. Now we don't have, we are not doing with a real time of the company data. So we don't want to give the further information. So if in the real time what happens, even this is the given for, if information is given already. So but still if I wanted to specify it, then I'll be specifying the details within the chart of account, like within the global settings of your company code. Okay, understood? So if you wanted to give address or to see the address details, you can give the address formats. So where this information were there again in the edit control, edit copy, delete check company code. Same thing you will be having here to give the further information about the company. Now, so the next we will be doing is chart of general ledger. So what do you mean by this general ledger? GL. So anything related to the general ledgers, we will be using this general ledger. So in that we have, again we are in the fee still, the financial only we are doing. First is chart of account. What do you mean by chart of account? So now what happens when I do the transactions? For example, in accounting, the two reports I need to generate. One is balance sheet, the other one is profit and loss account. So in the so for example, if I represent customer, so now my customer nature is an asset which will be represented under the balance sheet, current asset. So if I am doing the supplier details, supplier nature is nothing but liabilities which comes under the current liabilities in the balance sheet. So what are all the transactions I do? The transaction should have some nature. So customer is a liability, sorry, customer is a asset, supplier is a liability, taxation is a liabilities, like all the types of taxation is a liabilities, all the expenses is a expenses, whatever the income you get is a revenue. So this nature where you will be creating under that particular chart of account, you can create the ledger. See, for example, asset, whatever the asset you create, that should come under the fixed asset. So which will be under the fixed asset itself. So land, building, furniture, this is ledgers which you will be creating. So for example, if I wanted to create wages, for phone bill, current bill, so or else postal and phone charges, or else we will be giving maintenance, the audit fees. These are all is an expenses for you, which comes under the expenses nature. So ledgers, what you create, that ledger should be represented under one chart of account. So here, chart of account of an SAP is a list of GL account masters, records that are used to organize it. The master chart of account must be assigned to the each company code, so which will be defined to the client level. So operating country specific group chart of account, it will come. Operating chart of account in SAP contains the GL accounts that is used for postings. When you do the transaction, daily activities, day-to-day transaction, so those are all the accounting related will come under the operating chart of account. If I wanted to specify the country, legal requirements of the countries, so whatever I wanted to give, that comes under the country specific chart of account. Now, if I wanted to give the group chart of account, in the sense more than one corporate groups I will be creating, means I will consolidate all the different types of chart of account into one. So there might be a plan that like the other company I have, other company chart of account, and another A company chart of account and B company chart of account I can consolidate. So that we call it as a group chart of account. So now chart of account is nothing but a accounting masters, legal entity of your transactions. So the ledgers which we will be creating, that ledger should be under the masters which we need to represent. Those masters are called as a chart of account to your company in the SAP. In other accounting softwares and all, like if it comes to Tally or something, what happens, they've already created, you don't want to specify anything, but here everything we need to create it. So this is the path of chart of account and the T code. Right now, I'll show you the practical. What's your, let me know.
Completed, sir.
Okay. So the required path of this is financial accounting, general ledger accounting, GL accounts, master data, preparation, uh, edit chart of account list. So if I click on edit chart of account list, first it will ask me to create it. So new entry. Once you click on new entry, it will ask you to create the chart of account. So your chart of account, in the sense, as I told you, same company code we will be using for all the other information to create. So the same company code we use for chart of account. So MCC1 description, we will create chart of account to my company code. So chart of account to MCC1. The once you create that one, you need to enter the language. So the language we will be using is English. Length of GL account number. So length of GL account number is nothing but, so when I'm doing the GL account, so I've already created that particular GL length. So here I'll be giving 6 as a length of GL account number. So here controlling integration, always let it be under the manual creation of cost elements. If I am going to consolidate the other chart of account, something which is already created a different one, I can give the chart of account into this particular group. Think that if I wanted to block this chart of account, means nobody should use this, then I need to block it. So if I don't want to block it, I should use it for the transaction, then you don't tick this one. So only we give this information and save. Write down this one. Or you take the just picture of that chart of account, description, language, GL account number length. So then controlling integration, manual creations for cost elements. So then save. Back. So next is assign company code to chart of account. So as I told you, whatever we create, that should be assigned. If I'm not assigning, then it will not understand it for whom it is meant for. So assign company code to chart of account, in the sense that chart of account which I created just now, MCC1, that chart of account should be assigned to my company MCC1. So if I assign, whatever I do under the chart of account, that will be given to the company. So whenever I do the transaction, means whenever I do the ledger creation, then it will understand, okay, this ledger belongs to this chart of account. So whether it might be liabilities, assets, expenses, or revenue, it might be anything. So that is how we will be doing with the chart of account. So write down the heading, assign company code to chart of account, and write down the T code, path and T code. So once you know, let me know.
mentioned your March this thing.
Okay.
Done, sir.
So here you need to assign company code to chart of account. You don't want to create, you're assigning, means it's already there. Go for position MCC1. You have your company. The chart of account also I created MCC1, then save. So it is saved. Now the chart of account has been assigned to the company code. Now whatever the chart of account I create here, the nature of the chart of account, then it will be represented. So that related chart of account list, I will be able to do the ledgers. Yeah, I can able to create the ledgers. So to that ledgers, now I need to create the accounting groups. So what do you mean by this account group? Now next we'll be doing define accounting groups. Now chart of account contains the different types of accounts to manage a large number of GL accounts. So in the SAP, we need to arrange the accounting groups. So for example, if I create the customer, or if I create the supplier, so that particular ledger as a nature, so it might be within the liabilities, or it might be within the asset, or anything expenses, it shall come under expenses. Anything I create the income, I need to come under income. So those things I should represent, those particular nature I need to create under the chart of account. So that I will create the chart of account, I defined it. So for that I need to create the accounting groups. So I'll be creating the accounting groups here. So what are all the accounting groups I can create? So the share capital, reserves and surplus, current liabilities and provisions, secured loans, unsecured loans. So like this, there are a number of account groups which you can create. So for that accounting groups, you need to give the limitation for the account from account to two account. So account numbers is also very important in the sense, for example, if I create the share capital, under share capital, how many ledgers I can create? Now these are all the masters for you. So under these masters, how many ledgers I can create it? These accounting groups, I can create how many ledgers under them. So in the share capital, what are all, how many ledgers I can create as like 1 lakh to 1 lakh 19,999. Only this much, not more than that. Now, the normal example, if I give like 1 to 100, only 1 to 100 ledgers I can create, not more than the 100 ledgers. So we have also come across the as a GL length in the chart of account, length for GL account number 6. So this length is been defined for the accounting group. So means if I am defining the 6 there, that I'll be giving 6 numbers of value only. So 6, 8, 9, if I represent that number of length we can give. This is the length of the GL number. So GL, general ledger, which I am going to create that under the accounting groups, that I will be creating the from account to account. So only that many ledgers we are possible to create, not more than that. Again, if I wanted to create, in the sense I need either I need to create one more, nor I need to extend the to account. So more than this limit I need to give. So accounting group I need to create. Accounting group, now what we do is like, I will only show you how to copy the present accounting groups to your company code. So here I will be giving an assignment that where you will be creating the other accounting groups to the company. Okay. Write down the T code and the path. Once you wrote, please let me know. I'll show you how to create the accounting groups. Okay. So here, what we do, I'll show you how to define it. Here, define account groups. So here, what we need to do is like for you, the assignment which I give, you do the new entries, give the chart of account groups, name of the account, and accounting numbers. So here, what I do is like I'll be selecting the 4 chart of account which is already created, that I'll change it to my chart of account. So for example, I'll create 4 chart of account. I'll select 4 chart of account: asset, expenses, income, and liability. I'll just tick this. You know how to select it. Click on this gray button which will select. So I need to press F6 for copy as. F6, copy as. Then change this chart of account to your company code. MCC1, MCC1. So after this, once you press enter, so after you have changed, this is the from account to account which we have given for our chart of account. Press enter. Now 4 numbers are copied, then save. So once again, I say what I need to do is like select asset, expenses, income, liability, copy as, change this chart of account to your company, your chart of account, your company chart of account, then enter save. So now your assignments will be like you need to type with every chart of account. I'll mail you now. So the next is define retained earnings. So now what do you mean by this define retained earnings? Now retained earnings are nothing but, so whenever I have an cumulative net earnings or a profit of a company after accounting for the divided payments, so that earnings might be a surplus or it represents our reserves money. So for further investment to your money to the business, then we will be keeping that one as a retained earning. So in the chart of account, we also want to create the retained earnings. So whenever I create the retained earnings, then the balance which is carried forward from the fiscal year to the next fiscal year, it's nothing but the financial year of this to the next financial year. So that standard carry forward programming will be done under the retained earnings. So what happens, it is like not everything is not done at once and it's been represented year to year when it is being carried forwarded. I can understand that how much of that retained earnings I am moving from this year to the next year. So that exact thing to be calculated, we will be using as a define retained earnings accounting. So this defined retained earnings will be done after the chart of account which I created. So the for account type which I have created, for that P&L statement or the balance sheet to be represented, here the chart of account retained earnings I'll be creating. Okay. So here we need to create the chart of account, sorry, retained earnings, write down the path and the T code. So P&L statements of the retained earnings, we will give a name called X. So the X is a standard one you can use, but X is the standard one for the statement. Wherever it is going to accumulate the retained one will be represented under that particular profit and loss account place. Write down the path and the T. So I'll show you how to do. So here itself, same path. Here define retained earnings accounting. So if I click on define retained earnings accountings, it will ask you to give your chart of account. Without chart of account, I cannot give the retained earnings. So my chart of account, which I created as MCC1, and press enter. Here, every year you can define your own chart of account, retained earnings. So for the first retained earnings, what I create as a standard X, for that one account number. So it's like it's not to be represented, means one accounting number we will be giving there. So for the GL transactions, so what I give that there is 100 I will specify it. So here there are so many different types of accounting numbers. So one accounting number I will be giving for my profit and loss account, like retained earnings. So that will be 100. Okay. So here X is a one standard P&L statement account type, and account number I'm giving 100. So after giving this, you should save. See, once you press save, it will give you the warning. The account 100 not created in chart of accounts MCC1. I should create. It is not created. It will show. 2 times you press enter. 2 times you press save button. If it is not saving, then again you press enter, then it will save. So always in the retained earnings, once 2-3 times you just press save. If it is not saving, just press enter, it will save. So how do you open the retained earnings? Define retained earnings accounting. You should give the chart of account of your company. So if you don't give the chart of account, it will not open this particular configuration. So after giving, give the P&L statement as a yes, then you give 100, then save. Okay. Understood everything? Understood? Okay. So now you just drop all your mail IDs, Gmail. That should be under the Gmail. I'll send you the link. You just answer that questions. MCQ quiz. So I have mailed the link. Start answering. Everyone received the link.